Good evening. It is Saturday, and today's been very relaxing for me. Had a very long week. It was good. It was just really busy. I felt I was actually working on things that pertain to my job, which is always nice instead of trying to solve everything for everybody else. But so I woke up this morning, had my coffee, spent my time with Simon from the Hermit's Cave and Robin from his channel. He's doing his walkthrough, Toadstool Tarot. He's doing his walkthrough of the decks he is downsizing with, and started going through those today. So they were both very enjoyable. Simon had his spotlight with Cheryl, and Sandra was there, lovely as always, and it was really good to see them all together. That would be great if they could do that more often, but I know logistics, the more places people are and the more people there are, even with 3, it wouldn't always be easy to plan that. So I understand, but it's always great when they can be together, or when that happens. I don't know if they've been together before for Spotlight, but it was great. So good for them and good for us because we got to enjoy their company. I want to talk about deck mods tonight. This is not going to be like a walkthrough per se of the Druidcraft, but this is my mod journey with this deck. And I bought this deck at the beginning of my tarot journey a couple of years ago, and I really enjoy it. It was one that was recommended on YouTube that I saw. It might have been in the Hermit's Cave. I'm not sure. I probably saw it on several channels because when I first started out, I was eating up YouTube videos on tarot and tarot decks and different styles. This deck, surprisingly, is not one. If you were to ask me what are my top 10 favorites, I don't think I would have said until this weekend that this was in it, because it never hit me. It's kind of like a quilt your grandmother made for you. You don't have it out all the time. You don't use it all the time. It's not displayed all the time, but the craftsmanship is beautiful. And there's just something about it you can't let go of. And it reminds you of things. And that's what this deck is. It's not loud and flashy. It doesn't scream to me. It's not the cardstock. It's not the finish. It's not the boxes. It's not any of that. It's just, but there's something about this deck that feels steady. And I don't use it very often. There are certain questions I'll go to. It's like, oh, that'll be a good question for the Druidcraft. And I can't even describe what type of question that is because it just happens. But I saw this deck modified, and I don't even know what channel I saw it modified on because there are a bunch of those. And so when I first got this, I said, I'm going to do that because that looks like fun. Well, this is what happened, and I still really like it. I still have it. I had started cutting the borders off. And when I did that, I noticed that I had some of them didn't look right on the front. Maybe I was uneven, something like that. So then, and it has 2 borders. We'll see in a minute. It has 2 borders on the outside. So I cut the first layer off. Oh, I know. Here, let me just show you one real quick. So this one is, let me get one that's unmodified here. I think this is unmodified. Let me double check real quick. Yeah. So I'm just going to pull a few of these out so you can see what the edge looks like now. And these are unmodified. We'll come to these back in a minute because I am starting to modify these. So here's just the white edge. And then here is this white border. And then it has this sort of, I'm not quite sure what color it looks like. It might look a little more brown on the screen, but it is a green. It's a darker green. And it's kind of a marbly design, or it looks like it's supposed to be green leaves or branches, but it is a frame. And so I started cutting the white off. Well, then on one card or two, I accidentally cut this border off. I said, okay, well, I guess I better cut that border off. So I cut this border off, and then it looked funny because it had this bar here and this name here, and I didn't like it. I was like, well, that's not going to look right. So what do I do now? So I cut the picture out. And then, as you can see, I by no means got the right size, because on one of them, this is the first time I tried to modify, I trimmed to get them even. Then just like, oh, that's trimmed again. And then finally I figured out how to do it. But by that point, this is what I had ended up with. So I figured out how to do it and get them sort of even and did them all. And I ended up with this mini deck, which I absolutely love. And then I edged it in black and blue. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, there it is, black and blue. Right. But I love this. It's just, and with it, I mean, it feels really good in the hand. You still have the image. You don't have the full extended image. Like you wouldn't have the tops of the trees. You would have this part, because when I started trimming it down to this part, I actually got I cut out a piece of cardboard or something for the image to see where I needed the bulk of the image to be to keep the meaning of the card. And so it really did just cut out, but I love this. I love the size of it. I did not put these in order because this is just a little impromptu mod deck. But as you can see, it has everything it needs. And I know the cards. So the only drawback from this is if you don't know the cards, this would not serve you. But if you know the cards, then this is just a fun little thing to do. So I did that. And I had never seen anyone do this. So that was fun. And then the next time I did it, I said, well, I want to get another deck with the titles. I want to do it the right way and keep everything intact. So then I went and got the other deck, and this is the one I got. And then I trimmed just the outsides off. I believe I did that correctly. No, you know what I did? I trimmed the outsides, but I did leave the bar at the bottom, and then I thought again that it looked good. I liked it. It's just like having a title at the bottom. And so I have this. So I did lose maybe nope, I didn't lose very much picture at all if you look at that. Like you say, like I said, I just barely lost. When I trimmed this off, I had to come in to make it even, to keep the back centered, and that's what I did. So to keep that little pattern in the back centered, I had to cut this piece off, and then I had to measure it to see where that was. And it really wasn't very difficult. I did get a guillotine cutter, one of the paper cutters, and it's a small tabletop one. It's really, and it wasn't expensive. There's plenty of cheap ones out there that have a good blade that just cut. So, oops. So this is how these came out. These are more of a regular size. Let me see if I have something right here handy. I think I might. Oh, it's a heavy box. Let me see what's here. Yep, nope, that one's, well, I thought I had one here. I do. Okay, let me get that. Okay, so this is, oh, I love this box, by the way. You may have seen it. It's mass produced, and it's in some witchy shops. It's a stone or a composite or something, but I really like it. And I got this on clearance, so I think I only paid $5 or $6 for it, but you know, brand new and nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it, but you know, not on clearance. It's I think around $35. So here's just a regular card. I love this deck too. And then so it's just a little bit narrower and still a little bit taller. So maybe this is more like a who is it that does that? Los Garabeo? Or is it Lulin that does the little bit taller? There's one company that does this is more their size, but and the Aquarian, I have not measured it. It might be a little bit wider than normal, but it's fairly close to a standard. So there's that looked at. And so now, then I decided to edge this in sort of a coppery brown. Oops, knocked over. Put my piece of wood back up. This is what I'm doing. I have this wand, and I forgot the name of the wood, but it was handmade and imported from Vietnam, and it's absolutely beautiful. but I will look up the wood and mention what it is at in another video. So the brown I chose, I thought was the right color, but I did not know it was almost out. So I do want to redo this one a little bit, but I am trying to decide if I sort of like this look. It's because every card got a little bit of color. It's sort of like varied now, and it has just like so it has this sort of like woody color to it, and I'm trying to decide if I really like it, because I'm not opposed to it. But what do you think? Maybe you could tell me in the comments what you think about leaving it, or should I make it solid to make it match the back a little bit better? I'm really torn. I'm really trying to think about it, so I'm not in a hurry, because evidently I've had this for 2 years or so, but I'm thinking about that. All right, so now on to, then after I did that one, I said, well, I really should have one that's unmodified. And so I found one on sale. Let me pull, okay, this is out of the way, the other one's here. Okay, good, so those are good. So then I found this one on sale, and you can do that. You can find really good ones on sale sometimes. People have new decks they bought and they don't want to use, they either don't use them, they don't want to use them, or they realize that they're just not for them. So this deck, I have a gold pen, and this one is Deco Color Premium, Prime Premium, whatever. Let's see if it has a Uchida of America Corp. So I'm not sure who that is, but I've bought it on Amazon, I believe. I either bought it on Amazon or at Michael's, which is a craft store here. They have anything from yarn to painting to kids crafts to art supplies to drawing pencils and stuff. And it has that sort of, is it oil paint or is it metallic paint marker? It's a paint marker, so I'm not quite sure what type of paint it is, but you have to shake it first. It's kind of like if you had a can of spray paint and you have to shake it. And then once you do that, you have to press the tip down because it's on a spring. I have a piece of paper. Let me see. I'll use this. So you'll have a piece of paper, and then you have to press it down and lift up. I've already been using it, so it's going to come out. Press it down, lift up until, because this part's new and it's white. It's just like the white felt tip. And you keep doing that until it's like you start seeing it turn gold. And once it's there, then you can just draw with it. And it's absolutely wonderful. Now it's, I don't know if you can see the sheen. Yeah, there you go. You can see a little bit of the sheen on it there. It's really nice. I love this. It doesn't quite sheen as like, or shine like a gilding would, but it's really, it's nice if you can figure out how to use it. So I did practice with this because it's hard. It's really liquidy. It's not like a Sharpie or other kind of regular felt tip marker that this one doesn't run unless the cardstock just absorbs it and it drains it, you know. But this one's really liquidy. So if you press it down too hard, you're going to end up with a nice fat layer of gold paint, and then it's going to be sticky, then it's going to smear. So you do want to be careful. But let me show you what I'm doing with this. And I'll show you how I'm doing it, in case you ever want to use one of these markers, because they have them in all colors and they're really good. It lasts a lot longer, and they're not even metallic. Some are just regular colors, but they're that paint instead of ink. And it's really cool. So here are the ones I haven't done yet. Now let's show these first. Here are the ones I haven't done. And this deck has seen some use, and you'll see one of the edges are banged up a little bit. But these are the ones I haven't done. And these are the ones, oops, there's one that's not done. These are the ones I've completed. Okay. And I think they look absolutely beautiful. But the thing with this is, when you do this, you have to use my example again. You have to, one of two things. You either do it on the front and angle it this way, but you angle it towards you a little bit, and you start soft because you don't want to go hard, because see, it's going to come right out. But what happens if you see here, if you can, let's see if I can get it up. You get this little gold edge on the inside because this paint really is liquidy. It's not going to stay on the top like a Sharpie does. So when you do this, and you can look at your image for yourself, do you want this on the front or the back? And then just face the card toward whatever side you want that on, that's the side facing you. So, and then if you angle a little bit more, maybe just a tiny bit more pressure, you're going to get a little bit thicker line. And this is what I've decided to go with because I think it looks good. Now, some people don't like modding decks, and some people don't like modded decks. They don't like, it's not their cup of tea. But it depends on the deck. And I went through a phase where I was going mod everything, and I messed up quite a few. I'm glad they weren't rare or expensive. But and there's one more thing I wanted to show you here. If you look here, I can see right now there is one here that, you see that? Yep. See how it's white right here? That's one card that didn't quite get it right. And all I have to do is come here. And then if I set those aside, if I pick that card up, if the white went away, then I got the culprit. And if you look here, you'll see, here's my gold line on the outside. It's nice and even, but it matches the gold here. It's just a little bit shinier. So on this back one, all I need to do is come here and just go over it one more time. And you can see right away if you have it the right thickness. See here where it's a little bit thick and thin? I just come here and I go right here and it fixes it. And then on the front side, you might have just the slightest tinge, but so thin, it looks like it's meant to be. So what I would suggest doing, and what I did, was when you get a pen like this, it might be good for any type of marker. When I get a pen like this, I get a cheap deck of playing cards. When I practiced with this, I had a deck that was old and worn out, and we've been playing with it forever. We can still play with it because this was just practice. And nobody really cares about what the playing cards look like as long as we can still gamble. But or keep score, keep points or whatever. But yeah, penny poker. So this is how I did it. You practice with just a deck that probably go to the thrift store, find a deck of whatever cards. They always have like Old Maid and stuff for kids for like 50 cents or a quarter at thrift stores. And some people, you just find it like they're getting rid of stuff. So we'll take them. Practice. And it'll save you some time. So this is what I'm doing with these. And I think they are absolutely beautiful like this. Let me make sure I got these going right. Now, one thing you don't want to do is once you put this type of ink, paint, whatever you want to call it, but I love the way it just gave it this little gold edge on the backside. And the first time I used this pen, I did not practice on the deck I used. And I did not know how to hold it. I did not know how to, and at first I won't use any pressure. And then once I see what line it gives me, then I might just a teeny bit of pressure to see what it does. And until I get it the way I want it. And then you just go slow and don't get comfortable. Even with doing the regular edging, do not get comfortable. Take each card slow. And if you think you're starting to get, if you see yourself starting to speed up because you just want to be done, then stop. Put them in the box and pick it up another time because you need to go methodically slow with each card and be gentle. And then they will come out looking exactly the way you want them to. That was a hard lesson for me. I thought, oh, I got it. I can just zip through them. No, you'll ruin it every time. Or at least I did. I assume most people would. So when these are done, and when I do one, this is in the box. I'll put this back in the box, and I'll have these out. So I'll do one, and I'll just lay it on top. Do one, lay it on top, and I don't move them. I don't try to straighten them up. I don't shuffle them. I don't go through and look at them like this, because it does take not a long time. It's not like hours and days or whatever, but it does take, I want to say about, I really don't know, because I just leave them alone for at least a half an hour, but probably 5 or 10 minutes, to be honest with you, for everything to set. Because if right when you do it, you start playing with them, it's going to smudge on your, and this I did earlier, that I did on purpose, because I couldn't get the pen to work and I didn't have paper, so just, did it myself. If you pick them up and start playing with them right away and go like, oh, I want to see what these look like this, then it will smudge, and it will maybe get something on the image because you're doing it like this. So just be careful with that. But it does it. As long as you keep your pressure gentle and you're holding it the right way, it's going to go exactly where you want it. So it's not risky. Take your time, practice with a cheap deck. You get somewhere. All right, so I'm going to do these later. And then the next one I wanted to show you is my, let's see, where did I put the box for this? Let me put this back in here so I don't get too many spread out. There we are. Okay, so I'll put this right back there. They can go there. Good. All right. The next one I was working on too, I'm working on these at the same time. Just I like going back and forth on things, is my Witch's Wisdom Tarot. I love this deck. I will go through a walkthrough with both of these at some point, but this deck is just I love it. It's kind of like the Druidcraft, and it's not one I pick up a lot. And it's just a tiny bit different system, because the artists and the author, Phyllis, I'm going to pronounce this, so forgive me if it's wrong, Phyllis Currit and Daniel Barlow, they're both practicing witches, and they wanted to do a deck, and they were designing this at the time the pandemic came through. And they decided they were going to do the cards to more fit the way they thought their life cycle has gone. So I'll talk more about that when I do the walkthrough. So the system is just a tiny bit different, but if you wanted to, you could just use a standard Rider-Waite system. It is based on Rider-Waite, just a little turned around in some parts. But you can also use it as an oracle. Which is what I do a lot of times, because each card, let me just shoop. All right, Four of Hearth. You get a wisdom note. Like the sun, the vixen has created, warming and nourishing her cubs with her love and nature's gifts. Like her cubs, you have a place of peace, safety, and comfort. The scent of wood smoke rises from that place that calls you home. And I'll go more to that. Essence. The counsel is kind of like advice. Magic, a protection spell, just a little practice to embed the idea of the card, the energy of the card with you. But this whole part here is really reads like an oracle to me, and it's great for journaling. And I'm all about talking about journaling lately. It'd be great if they came out with a journal for this. There might be one. I haven't looked, but I don't think there is. But anyway, so back to the modifying. All right, so I used this Sharpie here, and so far, this is my favorite that I found. I haven't bought any like real expensive ones yet, any suggested, but it has a fat, can you see how big the tip is compared to my wedding band? So it has a fat tip. There's my pinky finger, gives you a better idea, but it's a really thick tip. Now these cards are easy to edge because they're a heavy weight. You can see how thick the deck is. But these cards were the same edged style of Druidcraft, so it was all white. And as I'd use them, it started getting a sort of grayish. We're all familiar with that. The longer you use them, the grayer they get. And I've probably gone over them, each card 3 times. And if you look here, it has this sort of like pearly look to it. I was not expecting that, because this is really just a regular marker. But you can see there's a little variation between this that's more like a purplish blue and this that leans more toward a royal blue and then darker again. So it just has these variations and it's just beautiful. I think it turned out beautiful. But on this one, the sometimes when you're doing these, you get it done, you think you're through, and you put them together like this new look, and you see a white spot. And you're like, what happened? How do I fix that? Well, it's simple. I had one on here I had left alone to show you what I do with that. I don't see. Oh, here it is. All right. So if you can see the corner right there. Oh, too close. Let's see. If you can see, I can't tell which angle I am with the camera. Oh, there it is. That little white spot right there. That's a corner. Where am I going? That's a corner right there that I did not fully get. So this is how I fix it. I hold it here to where I can see it. And then I kind of like come over here. And then if I see it switch sides, I know I got it. But then I move that back over here, set these down. And then so it is that one. All right, so now I know which card it is. So now all I have to do is come here. And this one I'm not so worried about, but once again, you don't have to press hard. You just come here and go around. And once again with this one, and this is so easy to do, I usually put my finger here just to make sure I don't go off track. And then I just pull it straight across. And then I come here on the corner and I go around and pull it straight across. And I'm not putting any pressure really. I'm just holding it to the card and it comes out great. Now, if these backs were any other color, you would notice a little edge here, the way I'm doing it, because it's doing what this one did on the other ones, just not as pronounced. It'd be a thinner line. So on this one, isn't this artwork just beautiful? Look at that. Love this. It's very earthy. But this blue, and I thought this might be too light, but after I started working on them and I saw how they came out, that contrast is, to me, is perfect. I love how it has that sheen. I was not expecting that, but I'm extremely pleased with these. The other thing is, these are cards I had used, and I shuffle them like this. So, you know, I do this for a side shuffle thing. Doesn't always work great with these cards because they kind of stick. They don't stick, but they're not slippery, so they don't really fall out of your hand. But I do that a lot to make sure they're really mixed up. But because I do that, and they bang into each other all the time, the edges are a little bit rougher than what you would have for maybe someone who'd riffle shuffle. I don't know what decks do when you riffle shuffle. Maybe the same thing happens. I'm not sure. But you'll get these little rough edges. You're all familiar with the deck that the edges are used and frayed a little bit. So what happens there, and I didn't pick one out to show you specifically, but every now and then when you edge it, and I edged them all from the back, you'll see just the tiniest little bleed on the front or where that edge is. I don't think I have, and like I said, the way I held the pen, it kept everything more to the back. So I may have a hard time finding one because I think I did a good job. But there are a couple in here where there's just the tiniest little blue, but you wouldn't know. Like if someone were just using your deck, or someone was looking, you're showing someone the images, they wouldn't notice it. But I do want to do a full walkthrough of this one because I just love this deck. And I'm sure people have seen it. It's nothing new. It's been around. This was in 2020. So what is that, 6 years now? Depending on the publication date and when it was actually released, it might be 7 years or closer to 5. See, here's a little bit I got here. So right there, but so small that if you're just going through, it doesn't. Here's one where I smeared it. Now this was just a smear. This was just when I wasn't being careful, and that's where I put the pen down. And unfortunately, there's not a great fix for that because it is ink. So go slow, be careful. This was not something that happened because this happened because I wasn't paying attention. I was tired and I should have stopped before. So that's why that's there. But I don't see, oh, here's one here. I don't know if you can see it, but this little edge here was frayed. And so now you can see where it's starting to sort of spill over where the ink ran, but that's because that's where white paper was. That's where the border was exposed on this side from it being shuffled. So it turns out well. I'm very pleased with this. And I'm very happy with the Droid Craft one too. So that is my, oh, look at the horses. I tell you, I love this deck, and I don't know why I don't pull it out more often. But that's it for this one, I think. But I've got something coming up I got to show you. So I'm going to do a walkthrough of these later, and I'll explain more on the next video. This is going to be fun. I found the original Mythic Tarot in the box with the book, with the cloth, with the tray. Hold on to your hats, folks. Times two. I got 2 of them. And believe it or not, it was a buy one, get one free. And I'm not going to tell you how much I paid for it till I get the video. So there's a little cliffhanger, huh?